Overnight brought some heavy rain, thunder and lightning, and as you can see, the stream is overflowing. We've got a week of rain in the forecast. I'm not sure how much gardening is actually going to get done, but I'll take you along and share whatever I do during this rainy weather. Over the next few days, we're supposed to have cloudy, rainy weather with lows in the 40s. And I'm going to take this opportunity to bring my perennial seedlings up from the basement and start hardening them off. This weather is going to be perfect. I'm not going to have to worry about the sun scalding them, and they're going to thrive in these cooler temperatures. Now, I do realize that it's early to be bringing my seedlings out, but these are perennials, so they can take a little bit of cold. And if it starts to get below freezing, then I'm just going to simply pick them up, move them into the garage, and pull them back out when the weather is warm again. More important than protecting from the cold, I'm more worried about the rabbits and chipmunks going, oh look, fresh greens. So I did spray with some Deer Away, and I have sprinkled some rodent repellent on here, hoping that that will deter them. Cross our fingers that that works. Here's a little close-up of our seedlings. These are the foxglove. Then we have some verbascum. We have hollyhocks. We have more verbascum. And then this is a mixed tray. We have some echinacea. We have some Malva zebrina, and then some Salvia turkiscantia, I believe. Now, these seedlings were all started on February 27th. Today is April Fool's Day, so I'm pretty pleased with how they're doing. I took advantage of those couple days of rain to do some stuff around the house. I painted my master bedroom, and I took a trip to New Jersey to visit my sister. But now we're back in the garden, and it is a beautiful day. A little bit cool breeze, but nice and sunny, and it's a perfect day to get some stuff done in the garden. However, when I was walking around, I was amazed at how much that rain invigorated things to start growing. The grass has gotten so much greener. I swear you can sit and just watch it get green. But along with the grass, there's some other problems that are coming. The weeds are popping up like crazy. There's edging that needs to be done. There's all kinds of projects in the garden, and if you're like me, you may be feeling a little bit overwhelmed. But it's important for me to understand that this is just the first week of April, and I still have almost 7 to 8 weeks before my last frost date. So I have plenty of time to tackle some of these projects. I don't need to let them overwhelm me and try to think that I have to do them all at once. I think slow and steady is the way to go. And today we're just going to do that. We're going to take it slow and steady and just tackle one area at a time and get some things done. I'm also going to take you around and show you some things that are in bloom, because when we got home from New Jersey, lo and behold, I've got some daffodils going right now. So the first blooms are starting to pop up, and that's a great reason to be out in the garden and enjoying the sunshine and Mother Nature. I think I'm going to start here in the brick garden, and the reason for that is I invested heavily in tulips this year, and there's a big swath of tulips that are going to be coming up around this pond. Now I want to make sure that the weeds aren't overtaking them, so that's my first project. It's going to be to weed around these tulip bulbs. Then I'm going to spray, because I do have a rabbit problem and I'm trying to make sure I have tulips. So we're going to do a little bit of spraying, and then I'm going to move over into the outer edge, which the garden is surrounded by nepeta, and I have some tete-a-tete daffodils that are coming up. And I just want to clean that area up, pull some weeds in there. Right now, I'm not going to tackle the weeds that are coming up in the bricks. I can get to those a little bit later in the season, and it'll be a little easier to pull when the weeds are a little bit bigger. So that's my plan. Now, the weeds definitely were not out of control here. In fact, most of the weeds in this area were very tiny. What was really helpful is all the rain that we've recently had made them so easy to pull out. For those of you who might be wondering, this pond is a 6-foot Rubbermaid stock tank that we sunk into the ground about 2 feet deep. I left a foot-wide planting area all the way around the pond. In the past, I had Stella d'Oro daylilies planted here. I gave all those away on Facebook Marketplace, so this year I could plant tulips and annuals. The brick sidewalk is 3 to 4 feet wide and encircles the pond. Where the bricks meet the garden, I have cat's meow nepeta and tete-a-tete daffodils. As the daffodil foliage fades, the nepeta should camouflage the dying foliage. The nepeta is so easy to clean up. Last year's stems were just so brittle they snapped off. In the summer, these arbors are covered with pink climbing roses, and this brick sidewalk is a pathway that takes us from one side of the garden to the other, and is a well-worn path to the shed that's in the back of the yard. This is definitely a do-it-yourself brick job. These bricks came from Griffiths Base, Air Force Base, when they were closing it down. They were tearing down buildings. So I took my little truck there, and my hammer, and a chisel, and I would spend hours going through the brick piles, chipping off the mortar, stacking them all in my truck, and bringing them home. And actually, all these bricks were laid at our first house in Rome. And when we moved, I said to myself, I'll be darned if I'm leaving those bricks. So I pulled them all up, and I brought them here, and I laid them on top of some roofing felt to help with the weeds. But overall, it's just laid on top of the sand, and over the time, these bricks have settled, so it's not totally level and flat, but that's what makes it look a little bit vintage and worn over time. Well, this project is turning out to be a little bit more than I had originally anticipated. While I'm in this area, I'm looking around going, well, you don't want those iris, so let's get rid of them. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get rid of these iris. I have been meaning to do this for years. I've got two hardy hibiscus here, and I want to move them. I'm going to take advantage of the fact that they're still very, very dormant, and I'm actually hoping I can split one of them into two pieces, because I want to put one piece over where we just removed the iris, and I want to put another piece on the other side of the bench. And hot dog, this one's going to come into two pieces. Look at that, just like that. Bingo! Bingo! Were you digging? Were you digging? Were you digging? Yeah, were you digging a hole? Yes, yes. I can't remember if the hibiscus that's planted here is the same variety of hibiscus that we just divided and put a piece of it here. I'm hoping that it is. That way I'll have two matching hibiscus on each side of this bench. There's another bench across from me, and I want to do the same thing over there. So I'm going to use that other piece of hibiscus, and then I have another hibiscus that I'm just going to move about a foot over so that it's symmetrical with this bench. The hibiscus is here. I want it here. So I'm going to be digging it up and moving it about a foot. Do you guys do crazy things like this? And looks like this one has split into two as well. Now, I'm going to leave this one here. It's not where I want it, but in case that hibiscus over on the other side is not the same as these, I've got this one, and I can move this one next spring to that spot. But right now, I don't have a place that I want to put this, and I don't have a place that I want to put that one over there. Otherwise, I'd dig that one out and move it. So I think we're just going to call it quits with moving the hibiscus right now. If I leave that freshly disturbed soil exposed, I'm sure weeds will just start growing all over the place. Putting a thick layer of mulch will smother any seeds and prevent seeds from reaching fertile ground. I use leaves as mulch. Every year I pile them on. They work great as a weed suppressant and help keep the soil cool and moist during the summer. And if you're wondering why my soil looks so soft and dark, that's because of many, many, many years of using leaves as mulch. When applying the mulch, it's important to not cover your plants, just tuck the leaves around them. A quick spray with deer and rabbit repellent, followed by blowing off the loose debris, puts an end to this project. As a reward for a day's work, we can now take a look at those beautiful spring blooms. After a long winter, it'll be those little things that bring the first signs of spring, like the first tiny leaves emerging on the Japanese tree lilac, red peony shoots pushing out of the ground as they reach for the sunshine. And nobody enjoys the tediousness of planting bulbs until they emerge in the spring, and then you are so glad you did. The first to emerge are the tiny ones, like the tiny little tete-a-tete daffodils, dark blue scilla, and of course, crocus. Unusually warm temperatures have some of the larger daffodils blooming now. It won't be much longer before many more follow suit. And of course, what would spring be like without hellebores? Thank you so much for joining me in the garden today. It's nice to have friends that come and visit. I hope that you will get out into your garden and take the time to enjoy those little things that spring brings. And don't let those big jobs overwhelm you. Please be sure to share, like, and subscribe, and follow along, because I think in another week or so, those daffodils are really going to be popping. Take care, everybody. Get out into your garden and have some fun.